Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring. More on them at the end of the video. I'm sharing 3 miraculous things that begin to happen when you start to keep a commonplace book in today's video. Hello everyone, Jennifer L. Scott here, and welcome to the Daily Connoisseur. I am the author of the Madame Chic series and Connoisseur Kids. And on this YouTube channel, I love to explore the fine art of living. I recently shared the practice of keeping a commonplace book and how it can change your life. And this video resonated with so many people, it really surprised me. A lot of you have already been keeping commonplace books, you just didn't know it. And some of you have realized that this is a missing link, something that you have been needing in your life. And so I'm so excited to dive more deeply into the topic today. But first, if you didn't see my original video, what is a commonplace book? Commonplace books are a way to compile knowledge all in one place, in one common place, and that would be in a journal that you keep. I have a quote here from Todd Henry, who wrote an article in The Accidental Creative that explains the benefit of commonplacing. He said, with the increase of information crossing your attention span each day, it's easy to forget even the most impactful experiences. Make every effort to capture these and to ensure that they become a valuable part of your creative process. So essentially, you are capturing important and valuable wisdom, knowledge, information, and putting it all in one book. It's different than highlighting a book and just keeping it on the shelf. You are thinking about it and processing it and placing it in a commonplace book that you will likely keep for the rest of your life. So while I've been journaling my entire life, I've only kept a commonplace book myself for a little bit over a year. This is my commonplace book, and the first entry is dated February 5th of 2022, and we are now in May of 2023. So I've been keeping this book almost the whole year. It's almost finished. And I have recognized over the past year how drastically my life has changed from keeping this particular journal. So the first miraculous change that happens when you keep a commonplace book is that you approach all material expecting to find wisdom. So whatever material comes your way during the day, whether it's something you read or see on social media or even television or something you hear in a podcast, you approach it differently. You are always on alert and you are always expecting to extract wisdom because you have your commonplace book in the back of your mind. It's like that saying, viewing life through rose-colored glasses. You're viewing life now through the lens of someone who keeps a commonplace book and someone who is looking for wisdom. Now, the reason why I think this first change is so miraculous is because it gives you an excitement for life, and you tend to find signs or messages that you would have otherwise missed throughout your day because you are now expecting to extract information and wisdom to put into your book. And I can't explain it that well, but you'll know what I mean when you start keeping it. Once you have this special book, you're going to notice things, maybe even that somebody says to you in a conversation, and you think, wow, this is really incredible, and this really goes in with what I'm studying in my commonplace book, with what I'm trying to compile. So you're going to notice that the more you expect to seek this wisdom, the more it's really going to find you. The second miraculous thing that happens when you begin to keep a commonplace book is that you will find yourself rapidly growing in wisdom the more you review your book. So this is what really sets the commonplace book apart from other forms of journaling. Whether you keep a gratitude journal or a daily diary or any other type of journal, you're not going back and opening the journals typically. I don't like to read my journals from my past. I just like to have them and keep them, but every now and then I might. Sometimes I flip through ones from my childhood, but sometimes it's a painful process for people to read their journals. But that's not the case with the commonplace book. In fact, you want to read this almost every day if you can. I recommend that you keep it handy. Don't put it on some shelf where you can't get to it. Keep it on your bedside table or someplace where you can regularly access it, because you should be looking through your commonplace book on a regular basis. And the more you do this, the more you grow in wisdom for the topic that you are studying. And this only makes sense because basically you are compiling the absolute creme de la creme of the information you're coming across, and you're putting it all in one place. So rather than having to flip through a bunch of different books to see your past highlights, you're able to open this up and look at it. Now, something I like to do is to just pick up my book and flip to a random page and and see what I wrote. And it's funny because we're going to talk about organization in just a second, but my method of madness for organization is quite funny, and that's why I'm laughing, because on this particular page I have things circled. I have amazing written in all caps with stars at the top of the page. I've got a lot going on just on this one page that I flipped open to. So that's what I like to do. I like to randomly flip open to a page. But let's say you're looking for something a bit more organized than my method of madness that I use. Now, it can be tricky to organize your Commonplace book, and some people who like specific organization for it might put tabs where they can write information, but that's not how the information comes to me. It doesn't come to me in an organized fashion, and I know myself, and I'll get too in the minutia of organization and less about keeping this important book. So what I do is when I have a quote or something interesting for something I've read, I will put the date on the top of my paper. I will put the title of the book, the author, the subject that it's talking about. I will write the quote and my thoughts on it, for example, if we're talking about a book. And then of course I'll make things stand out by circling things or even writing a note or something at the very top of the page. Now, if you want even more organization, the best way to do this with a Commonplace book is to have an index in your book, okay? And John Locke, who I spoke to you about in the last video, he was the English philosopher who wrote a new method of making Commonplace books. He recommends that you create an alphabetical index at the beginning of your book with sections for each letter further subdivided by vowels. That's one idea. You could keep an index in your book, front or back, doesn't really matter, where you have a general topic and then you can write the page number of where you can find that. So that might be more handy. Like if you're looking for something specific, rather than flipping through all the pages to look for it, you can go to that page. So each time you would add to your notebook, you would enter the page number for the relevant subject heading under the correct letter in your index. And the third miraculous thing that happens when you keep a Commonplace book is that you will find yourself wanting to do this for the rest of your life. So for example, I've been keeping this one for the past year and I'm almost finished with it. I already have my next one lined up. This is going to be my next Commonplace book. And I can't see myself finishing this book and being like, okay, that was fun, and not doing it anymore. I am in. I'm like all in on the Commonplace book idea because I see how many benefits come from it. And hopefully I will live long enough to have many, many, many volumes of Commonplace books that I can not only reference myself to improve my life, but that I can also give to my children. So when I say that commonplacing is life-changing, it really is, because I think that most people who begin a Commonplace book and regularly contribute to it and read it and benefit from it realize that this is just a new way of life, and that you can't really go back, nor do you want to. And so it really does change your life in that sense, and that is miraculous. I just love it. Now, can you keep other journals if you have a Commonplace book? And the answer is absolutely yes. I have so many journals, okay? I don't even know how I have time to write in all these journals, but I do somehow find the time. But I have an everyday journal I write in / gratitude journal. I have a content creation journal for work, which is in its own way a Commonplace book. The difference between my Commonplace book that I keep on, self-development, on spiritual matters, and my content creation book is that the things in my content creation Commonplace book are all from my own head. I'm not writing down quotes or listening to audiobooks or reading books and getting that information there. These are ideas that I have for videos, books, poems, and that type of thing. So in a sense, it is kind of like a Commonplace book. But anyway, I just find that when you compile all the information in one place, it is so powerful. And before the video closes, I would like to thank Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Skillshare is such a wonderful supporter of the Daily Connoisseur, and they are an incredible resource because it's an online learning platform. They have thousands of classes on so many different subjects. And if you are looking to extract knowledge, what a better place than Skillshare to find it. You could add this information to your Commonplace book. So whether you're looking to improve your career or move into a new field, learn a new skill, or just get inspired by life, Skillshare has so many valuable resources. So this time I'm taking a class called Art Journaling for Self-Care, 3 Exercises for Reflection and Growth by Amanda Rach Lee. And this class is incredible because I have told myself that I'm not an artist. I don't know why I tell myself this. You know, I've always said that I'm not that type of artist, and I don't know why I'm limiting myself. That's ridiculous. So I'm taking her class. I want to include art journaling into my journaling practices with both my Commonplace book and my regular journals, because I think that it's a wonderful self-expression. So I'm learning so much from her class, especially about capitalizing on your mood and how you can translate that into beautiful art. So Skillshare is a wonderful resource, and the first 1,000 people to click my link down below will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I would love to hear how commonplacing has improved your life. What are some of the miraculous signs that you have seen? Let us know in the comment section down below. In the meantime, keep calm and remain classy, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.